Hello everyone, this is Lalima and in today's video we'll talk about JSON file structure and we'll perform some Python operation over that JSON data. For better understanding, I have divided this topic into three parts. In first part, we'll see basic detail about JSON data structure, where we try to understand how JSON data looks like, what are the different features a JSON file has. In second part, we'll import some JSON file and normalize that JSON data. And in third and last part, whatever data frame we get after the normalization, we'll export data back into the JSON file. So these three topics will cover one by one. So in today's video, we'll see the basic detail of JSON data. Okay, so let's start from the basic. So JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. JSON is a lightweight data interchange format which is easy to read and write and also easy for machine to parse and generate. JSON file uses the .json extension and it is very commonly used in API configuration and data storage due to its simplicity and compatibility with multiple programming languages. So JSON is a very popular data interchange format. Now JSON has two structures. One is called objects, which is enclosed in curly bracket, and second called arrays, which enclosed in square bracket. So here if you see, this is a JSON data example. So this data, we can call it as an object. Why? Because it is inside this curly bracket. But if I talk about this particular line, then this is an array. Why? Because here data is inside square bracket. Okay. So JSON has two type of structure. One is object and array. Okay. Now let's see the JSON syntax and what are the rules we need to keep in mind whenever we deal with the JSON data. These rules are very important because it's not only help us to understand the JSON data, but also many operation depends on the structure of these data. So some operation are for the objects only, some operations are only for arrays. So as per the rules only, we can identify, okay, this particular chunk of a code is an object, so we need to apply this particular operation. Okay, so let's see the syntax rule for the JSON data. So data in object contained within the curly bracket as a key value pair. Means any data which is inside an object always be in a key value pair. So this is, we can say this is an object. Why? Because it's inside curly bracket and whatever data it has, it always be in key value pair. Okay. Each key value pair has to be separated by a colon. Okay. So currently we are talking about object and any data which is inside the object always be in key value pair and separated by colon. Each key must be string. Key always be string and inside the double quotes. Now value can be many forms. So key always be in string, but value can be of many forms. So it could be a string, it could be a number, it could be a boolean, it also can be null, it can also be another object and another array. So value can have many forms. So here if you see, this is one example of JSON data. So this data is object. Why? Because it's inside this curly bracket. Okay. And data inside that object always be in key value pair. So here it's separated by colon and in key value pair. Now, as we mentioned earlier, key always be string. Okay. So here all the key values is a string. Why? Because it's inside the quotes. And value part, it could be string, numerical, boolean, null, another object or another array. If there are multiple key value pair, you must put a common after each pairing until the last pairing. Okay. So inside an object, if there are multiple key value pair, so it should be separated by comma until the last pairing. Okay. So this is all about the object. Now if I talk about the array, so any data which is inside the square bracket is called array. And array can contain multiple objects. So here see, this is our array. Why? Because it is inside square bracket and array can have multiple objects. So this is another example. So this is an array. Why? Because it's inside the square bracket. And as we see, an array can contain multiple objects. So it has this one object and this is another object. Why this is object? Because it is inside curly bracket and data inside that object is in key value pair. So here also it's in key value pair. Okay. So this is the very important line. Array can contain multiple objects, but object cannot contain multiple objects. Okay. Here you see this is the key value pair. It's not another object. So inside an object, value can be an object, but inside object there cannot be another object. Okay. So always use proper indentation for the easy readability. So these are some basic syntax rules for JSON data. So whenever we process any JSON data, always keep in mind that our JSON data should be in correct syntax or correct format. There are some online tools also available to check the JSON syntax. So one of the tool is jsonchecker.com. So here if I copy this code and if I check here whether this is correct or not, so it's saying yes, it's a valid JSON. Okay, suppose if I remove this comma, so it's throwing an error that something is wrong in this JSON data. Okay, so whenever you process or work in JSON data, so always make sure your data is in correct syntax, and for that we need to keep these rules in our mind. Why? Because when we perform the Python operation on JSON data, there are some operation which is only for the objects and some only for the arrays. Okay, so using this syntax rule, we get an idea, okay, this is the array, this is the object. So as per that, only we need to perform our Python operation. Okay, so based on the above syntax rule, I have a few questions for you where we need to find out whether these given sample data, it's in correct JSON syntax or not. So you need to give the answer in comment section. If you think that these examples or these sample data in correct syntax, then type yes. And if no, then share the reason why it's not in correct JSON syntax. So I have total 4 examples. You can pause and see the data and type your answer in comment section. So this will help you as well as other for their understanding. So this was the first topic where we discussed the basic detail about the JSON data structure. In our next video, we'll see how we can import and normalize the JSON data. The link I'll provide in the description box, so you also see the subsequent video. And also please do comment your answer of those questions which we asked in this video. And if you have any question, feedback, doubts, or you want to discuss any new topic regarding the Python, so please do comment. So if you learn new thing today and like my effort, then please like, share and subscribe my channel. And I'll see you in next video with new concept. Till then, thank you and take care.